until Kirk goes and invites us into his Mercedes. We're many fans, and we're ladies with many fans, not the shady ones. We ride along beside him in his luxurious carpet. We're the lady mini fans, watch your content on demand. We're the only women in this miniverse, for better or worse.
Hello. So
Hey.
we have our usuals, Brandy and Tara, and we will introduce Lindsay today. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, guys.
Excited to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for asking.
Wonderful. Now, I've seen you out and about quite a bit recently on Twitter and in Discord. So I apologize if this is a bad question, but how long have you been a fan of the show?
I probably since it first started. Yeah, Kirk's like first show. I just tuning in to like the
On the
Craig stuff
Barstool
and
side or even through
yeah,
EEI?
not really through EI. I knew who he
Okay.
was just being from like Boston, but
Yeah.
never really was into sports radio, so never listened.
No. Well, there you go. Okay, so that's exciting. Have you been enjoying the interaction with the Minifans? Is it like, some people when they first discover it, they're like, "Oh my goodness, these people they're into it."
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I think it provides so much content for like my day and it gets me through my day that it's just nice to be around like-minded people that appreciate it like as much as I do. So I like
Perfect.
interacting.
Yeah, it's just every time there's a new female, it just is so exciting. So I'm sure we all
Yeah.
have that same
Yes.
thought. Welcome.
Thanks.
Brandy, how's quarantine going for you?
Well, I'm actually currently in New York for work, so I did have to travel.
That's the worst place to be.
I know.
Yes, which makes quarantine a little more difficult. Everything around here. I do go out twice a day just to get in my walk and my exercise.
Yeah.
I figure being out on the streets, I mean, I've been to New York in the past, and this is not New York. I mean, it's empty. Times Square is empty. So I don't feel bad being out on the streets. But it's definitely more difficult here than at home because I'm in a, little tiny hotel room and everything is delivery and I can't cook and there's nothing for me to clean. So it's it's worse here. That's for
Oh
sure.
man, Tara, how are you doing with it?
Well, I was saying to Brandy a little bit earlier that everything just seems to be blended right now as far as work and school and being in one place to do both of those things. It's kind of getting a little overwhelming. So just trying to really figure out positive self-care strategies and, actually taking a break when necessary instead of continuing going on. So it's just been a struggle with that, but today's a lot better. Took a drive, just been really focusing on myself and meditating and trying to stay sane in this time. So
No, fair enough. I remind me never to break the law because I would not do well in prison. Apparently, one small room all day is not working for me at all. No, I will obey the law. This is something I've learned. It
That's
took me
so funny.
this far to teach me. Tara, I saw you tweet out I think it was like a journal.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're kind of making your list, and I chuckled a little bit because you had on there like take a shower,
Yeah.
and I said, "Oh, I don't usually have to remind myself to do that. The shower is the highlight of my day."
Yeah, I usually it's not an issue for me either, but I think right now, since I'm taking calls and doing certain things throughout the day, I'm like, okay, when's a good time to shower? When's a good time to like take a break? So I think even just writing it down and crossing it off for me, I think is just really helpful at this time.
Feels productive, yeah.
Yeah, so the first day worked really well, and I'm starting to write, tomorrow's to-do list. So I'm seeing if that kind of helps.
And Lindsay, we were chatting a little bit, and you said you still are commuting for work, so you at least have a little escape from quarantine, it sounds.
Yeah, not much has changed for me. Just work-wise, like it's just me and my boss. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, not much has changed in my routine other than just can't go like anywhere else except for work. But it hasn't been like really bad, but like the weekends are tough because
Yeah.
like I have a twin and
Oh,
she
that's
doesn't like
fun.
yeah, it's very fun, but she has a 3-year-old and she's like she's not allowing anyone in her house. And so like we're super close. So we've just been doing a lot of FaceTime and because she doesn't want anyone over there. 'Cause my niece has asthma. So
Yeah, no, it's understandable as hard as it is. My kids are always like, "Can we go to a friend's?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'd love for you to be more entertained, but at this point, you kind of have to follow the rules." So
Yep.
Mm.
that's just the way that it goes.
Yep.
So with quarantine, does this help everyone keep up on all the YouTube stuff? There's a lot,
Yeah.
thank goodness, but also like I feel guilty if I miss anyone's show because I really do try to support everyone. Tara, how are you doing with that?
It's been a struggle. I mean, I think it's interesting because although it seems like I have more time to sit back and relax, I feel almost the opposite, like busier and overwhelmed. So I've been trying my best to keep up with everything. I
Hmm.
feel like I've been able to do a really good job at least keeping up with the daily podcast. And then, if I have time, I'll watch a little bit of each one. But to be honest, it's been really hard for me to get to all of them. And as you said, you might feel guilty for not being able to get to one. And of course,
Sure.
I want to be able to watch all the content. And I think it's really great that there is so much available to people. And
About
yeah, oh, sorry. I was just
mhm.
going to say that, it's good that there are things for people to watch as far as what they're interested in. And some people might, not be
Yeah, you
interested in that.
pass on something that kind of
Right.
isn't speaking to you so much.
Right.
Brandy, have you been watching a lot?
I'm with Tara. I mean, it's actually harder to keep up being in quarantine. I used to be able to listen to the show as soon as it dropped when I was in the office. I find it a lot harder now that I'm not in the office and I'm working from home. It's harder to listen to the show and concentrate. I don't have my normal setup. I'm very overwhelmed. I mean, I went from having 2 to 3 computer screens to having just one little laptop. And so trying to do everything that I
Oh,
do it's really becoming frustrating. I was telling the girls before the show started that I find myself a lot more irritable with people now too, especially my coworkers. Trying to communicate through just email is the
oh, it's
worst thing to do.
terrible. No, I feel
And
you.
so I haven't even finished today's show because I listen to it when I can, but I find myself having to pause more often. And
Mm,
then when
Yeah.
my work day finally ends, even though I'm already in my home, I have no interest in listening to anybody talk about anything. I want to curl up in my bed and sleep.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny because I get interrupted a lot at home, obviously, and sometimes I forget to hit pause. And then I saw yesterday on Twitter people were tweeting at Steve something simple about In and Out Burger or something, and I said, "Wait a second, I didn't hear that part." And I find myself I have to go back and listen to and I'm like, I've already heard this. When do they get to and it's a one
mm.
minute little one off about In and Out Burger, but I'm like, okay, at least I can rest peacefully that I have heard this because
Yeah.
I don't like to miss anything. Lindsay, do you watch a lot of the YouTube?
Um, I don't really watch a lot of the YouTube shows. Like it's a goal to start like
Okay.
watching more.
We're not
Um,
here to shame anyone. It's
no,
okay.
no, I think it's just it makes it easier to know like what people are talking about when you
Mm.
like
Sure.
know the full extent of the content. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just sit at like my desk, so I have been just meandering into Discord, a few times
Oh, there you
a
go.
day, and just seeing what's up in there, and
Okay.
yeah, it's a nice way to interact as well.
There
So
you
Oh, yeah.
go. Now,
yeah,
something I've heard twice listening to the YouTube stuff is that they think we are too nice. So I heard that from
Yep.
Zonker and Menners have said that we're too nice. So I'm not really sure how I can change that, but I'm going to try. I feel like my not so nice side showed a couple weeks ago and no one really seemed to enjoy that. So I guess no matter what you do, you can't please everybody.
yeah,
So
I think
Exactly.
I think that's the consensus in this world in general,
yeah,
Lauren.
Just do what you want, do what makes you happy, and call it a day.
yeah, no,
Exactly.
it's true. Only if the moment's right. I can't force anything, and I don't think
right.
anyone should ever be doing that. So,
No.
we'll get into the Menners had a lot of well,
Mm.
his I thought his show was very good. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I thought it was very interesting, and it brought a lot of conversation to the show today. So, personally, I don't really have a problem with Menners. I think I kind of I don't know a lot about running your own business and what he could be doing better. Should he
right.
have taken the phone call? Yeah, it probably could have saved him some hassle, but at the same time, if he doesn't want to answer the question, I don't think he should have to. Brandy?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know anything about running a business. Unfortunately, I know quite a bit about, businesses closing and people being out of work during these times because that's what I do. Um, but we don't know what the true story is behind it. But I also agree. I feel like he should have taken the phone calls. I also don't have a problem with Menners. He's not been nothing but nice to me when we have interacted. But I think he could have taken the phone calls and it definitely would have saved himself a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
Might not have been what he wanted to discuss at that moment, but I think if he had just answered them when they came in, it would have been done and over with so much easier than how it
Mm.
was handled.
Yeah. And I really think he was given a lot of flack on the show because he took those shots at Kirk. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
apparently, if there's a giant ocean separating him and Kirk, that's when the comfort level to take some shots comes in because they were just. I just felt like it was very half-hearted and it had to do with he didn't like the wrestling show and the Collins stuff. So Tara,
Yeah.
how did you interpret this?
Well, I will say again that I agree with both of you. I've never had any negative interactions with him. I also don't know much about the business side of things. However, I mean, we don't really know how they handle things there where he is. So, and just like you guys said, I mean, at the end of the day, if he didn't want to talk about it, it's totally up to him. And I do agree that it could have been over and done with if he chose to continue with the conversation. But yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with him. I try to, stay stay clear of all
Neutral?
yeah. I mean, I'm not here to be like, oh, this I mean, I don't know. He's a little feisty one there. I
Well,
would
yeah, and that comes with, having an opinion. Someone's not going to
Oh yeah.
like it. So you
of
can't always
course.
just be the one who nods along and is happy with everything.
Right.
You
Right.
ha- we need to bring in some people who are argumentative, and that's
Yeah.
probably his best qualities. So they're probably happy to have him around. Lindsay, what do you think?
so I was kind of in the thick of it with I did watch Sleek yesterday, and I was in Discord, and I was like following along with the guys in there, and I think him not answering it, like the phone call and like the phone calls getting dropped, I think that just kind of egged them on into calling more and really wanting the answer that they want, like that not even that they wanted, but they just want to hear an answer. And like you guys said, I don't own a business and I don't know anything about owning a business, so I'm not sure what is necessarily like happening over there, but
Sure.
it is like a tough time. But I think that by not answering the calls, it just gave, you know, the boys a little more drive to get through and to disrupt him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I can see that. And I will defend Justin as well because anyone who has worked where they have to answer phones, it is
yeah.
probably the job that can get you aggravated the quickest ever. So, poor thing. And
uh,
it's the
and
middle
he
of the
does
night.
it and he does it for multiple shows, so
Yeah.
i
Yeah.
i get it. I answer phone calls as well, and sometimes after so many you get to that point where you're just rolling your eyes as you're answering the
Yes, the
phone.
phone rings and you give it the death look. Like if that
You
thing
Yeah.
makes another
do.
sound, I am just so done with this.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So I have to back Justin as well because he does a lot and he's great at what he does. So
Yes, thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Um, So something else came up on Menner's show. He had tweeted out, if you can't stay awake but you have a question, tweet at me. So I go to bed at like 8 o'clock. So I said, okay, well I'll
Same.
ask here. So I asked a question that got a little buzz. So I figured we're gonna cover this as well.
you sure did.
See, it's always the comment, are you, tits or ass? And I said, no, I'm going to go with something else here. I'm going to ask, of the two things, which physical quality is more important to you in a woman, the face or the body? And if you read the comments, it was 50-50, which I found that always makes for a good question. So I thought about it and I thought about it as to like which to me is more important. And I go face all day with this. It's pretty easy to cover up things you kind of want to, you can dress for your size, you can kind of play with that, but your face, the proportions, it's out there no matter what you do.
Mm.
Tara, what did you think?
I also agree with the face, basically, because that's the first thing that someone sees. Unless, you're on the beach or wherever and your body shows as well as your face. But I agree. I mean, I lately have been covering up my face because, we're in a time where I don't go out much. So, of course, I'm going to enhance the look a little bit and, feel good. So I feel like, yeah, the face it's a first impression. And like I said, it's the first thing, someone sees. And then that will, then eventually you'll see the body and maybe not, but yeah.
Yeah, and if you get to that point, I mean, is anyone really here to nitpick? Probably not.
Right, exactly.
Lindsay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think face too. It just like your like the eyes are just like it's a window into your soul. So I think that
Mm.
you know, you can tell a lot by someone's eyes. And I mean, I think that yeah, like a body, you can change it. You can't unless you have like plastic surgery, get your nose done or whatever. Like you can't really you're just stuck with it. But so I would definitely take the face over that, over body.
There you go, Brandy.
Oh, this is a tough one for me. I'm going to be somewhat shallow and say I'm going to go 50-50. Face is definitely, the first impression. I love, a nice smile and eyes, but I also like a nice body. So I will be the first to admit that I'm shallow when it comes to that.
I don't
And I
It's
have
a
to
shallow,
go.
it's a shallow question. So
I have to have a mixture of both.
okay, hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I like it.
I honestly do feel like it's easier to play around with your look on the body end than it is with there's not much you can do with a
right.
busted face. So then it
No.
kind of got me
With a
thinking, well,
bust.
do I feel the same way about a man? And my initial thought is like, well, most men have like a beard and wear a hat, so they have the luxury of hiding most of their face. So I have to go body on that one because I like the shoulders and the upper back. So
That's true.
that's that's exactly where I went with that. Body a little bit more than a face. Lindsay?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Men can cover up so much easier with facial hair and just different whatever they use and bandana. I don't even they can just cover it up. But I mean, if you I definitely there's nothing like a good Channing Tatum body. I'm
There you
shallow.
Nope, you are
Magic
fine.
Mike.
This is where we're going today, apparently. Brandy?
I'm gonna have to go 50-50 on the men as well, because even though they have the facial
She needs
hair
the
and
whole
the hat,
package.
I do. It's probably why I'm still single.
You're waiting for the right one.
Even
worth the
some
wait.
men with facial hair, it still just doesn't look right. They just don't look good with or without. And I do like a good body as well. So
Tara?
I agree with Brandy, definitely. I mean, I will say, I do like facial hair, as I mentioned before. Body is important too, of course, especially because, I'm going to be with my fiance forever. So, I mean, he needs to look nice. No, he does. But in general,
Oh boy, don't tell her, guys. I'm just kidding. It changes. It changes.
I'm sure. Oh yeah, we've had that conversation. I'm like, I don't blame. Like, I apologize for whatever I'm going to look like when I'm 90. Sorry. Yeah. So I guess,
90. I'm panicking for 40.
yeah, my birthday is next Wednesday, and I'm almost close. I'm close to 30. So
Oh.
crazy.
I miss that. Okay.
Reminiscing on the younger days. You look good.
Well, as we're talking about all the superficial things, I was thinking with quarantine, I'm very thankful to be a pretty low maintenance woman, because the ones who rely on spray tanning and I think if you get those lip injections, if you don't keep up with it, your lips shrivel like old
Oh.
man balls. So
Yeah.
I'm really concerned for people who have those kind of biweekly habits that they can't tend to. So
Their Botox and
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will say my eyebrows are looking really rough, though. I mean, I get them threaded and I can pluck them. That's not a big deal, but it's just not the same. So I feel like
Why?
2 ferrets have been out on my
they don't
forehead.
look bad, I promise. They
No,
don't.
no, not from
No.
here.
No.
I know, too bad. Good thing you guys can't come 6 feet near me. As you can
Yeah,
see.
it's just keep the camera at a
Yeah,
good distance,
no
and
one
no
can
one needs
tell.
to know.
Exactly.
I was reading some of the comments about my original question. I messaged my friend Steve from Providence, and I said, I need to know your answer to this. And his quote, and I'm going to read it directly because I don't want to misquote him. He said, I woke up next to both, I can't read my own handwriting, battleships and horror faces. Both are tragic, but a gym membership only costs $10. So that was his take. I'm gonna say he agrees with us who went face. And then Ned Snark, God bless him, the
Oh.
gentleman. Did everyone read this? I mean,
No.
he isn't
No.
just perfect enough. He says,
Oh,
the
man.
body you love today, the face you love forever. So there you go.
He's such a silver fox.
Yeah.
He really
He
is.
really is.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to just
If
throw
we
the
could all
charm
just
on,
have our own Ned.
Yep.
right?
Well, Brandy, I mean, if we are going to do a Minilady Bachelorette, hey,
I am game. Whenever you guys are ready, I'm game. Sign me up.
all right.
I remember you said you do like the tattoos, but you want a guy that can polish it up as well. So,
So,
my will.
men, if you're out there,
Right.
Oh.
Well, you're welcome on the show. I'm ready to invite some guys on here. What do we think about that?
yeah.
Yes.
I feel like they right now feel like this is a territory they can't, come
Girls
across.
I
but-
welcome
Stay
it.
out, boys.
I welcome it.
Yeah.
I would love for them to come play with us.
that would be interesting. So we'll have to see. I'll open the invitation a little bit further. So
Yeah.
did
Perfect.
anyone
That's a
have
good idea.
any thoughts from this week's worth of content? I know Mike he's had a rough
Oh,
week. Brandy.
that poor guy. I feel so bad for him.
At least he has you.
I know.
That's true.
I just want to like give him a great big hug and tell him it's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like being in New York, I should like hunt down Dave Portnoy and be like,
You
leave my
should,
man
yeah.
alone. Like,
Yeah,
back
like what's your
off.
problem with him? He obviously
I
has a
know.
problem with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
without question.
It's so
Jealousy.
So
weird.
Jealousy.
It's crazy.
So, Lindsay, actually, this question just occurred to me where you seem to have come from the Barstool side as a fan. Are you a Dave Portnoy fan, or how do you feel about him?
I like Dave, you know.
You do.
He's very polarizing. I mean, I
Hmm.
think he knows how to ring in a crowd, and he knows how to make noise, and
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing. That's why he's successful at what he has built. Um, I mean, do I like every decision he's ever made? No, but
Hmm.
I mean, I think he's good at what he does on the content side. I don't know. I'm more
Hmm.
of an Erica Nardini person myself. You know, I think she's great. But yeah, Dave, you either love him or you hate him, and I think he provides like really good content, whether it be, I mean, it's never bad. It's always interesting. I mean,
No,
he had
absolutely.
a ton of people looking at, you know, the rundown on, you know, for when he was talking about Mike, and I think he's like his gambling thing is what he usually does, and now he's day trading, so he knows what to do when things kind of switch on him.
Now, do you
Uh,
think that would you call him a smart man?
like Kirk says, I
That's
think
the
he's the
polarizing part. I
smartest.
think he's both
Yeah,
smart and stupid.
Yeah.
right. Yes, I definitely think that. He knows what he's doing, but he's so out of touch too at the same time. Like,
Right.
so I
Like
think
I find his arguing style, some people might say it's kind of like Kirk's because he gets, loud and he can be aggressive, but I think Kirk is actually very smart, where Dave just, I don't want to use the word bullying because I don't really like that word, but he just kind of
he
yells
piles on.
in the air. Tara,
Yeah.
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just doesn't think it through. It's just kind of like not, I don't want to say an adult tantrum.
I
I
get
would
that
say it's an
actually.
adult
Okay,
tantrum.
maybe that fits perfectly then. Okay. It's hard to come up with words, but yeah, I think even as Kirk said, maybe tomorrow he'll forget about it because he's always going and going and going, and that's the part where he probably just doesn't think things through to the point of, okay, he's arguing, but maybe he doesn't even know what he's arguing about. Just like
No, that's a good point.
just like he probably, I mean, it's mind blowing to me why there's so much hatred. And I understand that Mike has made mistakes in the past, but we all make mistakes, and I think it's just getting really like insane now, the amount of hits that he's taken.
Well, and it's really unfair too. I mean, for Dave to come out and say that if anybody else had made the phone call, he would have been fine with it.
Right.
I mean,
Like,
that's a pretty obvious "I hate Mike" statement without saying "I hate Mike."
right. And
And
do you
I
really,
feel like, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you think that Dave would actually explain why? Do you like, that's
I
what,
don't think Dave
No,
knows why.
that's what
Right.
that's why I say
And going
Right.
back to what Lauren said, I think the reason that Dave gets loud when, he's arguing is just because he's not very smart when it comes to arguing, and so maybe being loud kind of throws people off from
right.
realizing that he doesn't
Yeah.
know what he's talking about.
They pay
Mhm.
attention just because he's loud, but don't
Exactly.
listen closely to the words that are coming out of his mouth.
No,
Right.
I agree with all of that. I don't get into a lot of the Barstool stuff. I
I
have to
don't
admit it.
either.
I'm just too old. I think I have to come to terms with this.
Okay.
Oh, but I was on on with the Mincels, and they had did you guys listen to the Zonker interview? That was very good. Lindsay, you
I
probably
listened to
got
a little bit of
into
it.
the Discord chatter about it though, because you're in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were booming about that in there. Uh, I heard it was good. Um, I didn't
Yeah.
really listen to a lot of it.
Oh, that's okay.
Same.
No, I've listened to like I know the beginning of it because I've watched like the first like 3 episodes of the Barstool documentary series, and so I know like that he's
Oh,
like
the history.
yeah, so I know
Yep.
that, but he's he seems to be a very interesting person. I will definitely watch it because
Well, yeah,
it's
and
hard to
he.
watch things at work. It's
Oh,
easier to
sure.
listen to things.
Because it's up on your phone, and they're like, "What are you
Yeah.
doing?" Whereas just
Mhm.
plugging in, it's a little less obvious what you
Yes.
what you're up to. I kind of hope that they use him a little bit with the show because he seems to be a listener. Like he talked a little bit about knowing the history of what Kirk went through at the radio station, and he seemed interested in that. So I'm interested to see what is to come. I think there could be something there. We'll see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gotta be hard for them right now with nothing going on. Good gracious.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
can
sure.
barely come up with 6 sentences to say to the people in my house right now because I'm like, I've walked around in my pajamas all day. I have nothing else to report. So we're trying to get through these boring times together.
Very true.
That's
No,
for
it's
sure.
Yeah,
can't
well,
I couldn't
go ahead.
imagine. No, I just couldn't imagine, like, I would cry.
I would give
Cry.
anything to have a commute to my office again. I never thought
11
that I would miss
minutes.
that, but good Lord, do I miss it.
Yeah,
The
mine's only
roads.
3 minutes, and it's amazing
Oh,
how many less steps I take every day just because I
Yeah.
used to walk on my lunch and I'd,
Yeah.
take the stairs every time I had to move around in the office. Now I feel like I don't move. I feel like a sloth. So,
see,
I
and
love
ugh.
that. So
that's the one thing I've tried to stay consistent with is still getting out and walking because I do that at work as well. And it's been the
Mhm.
only thing keeping me sane is to go out for a half an hour at lunchtime. And then after dinner, even here in the city, I went out for 6 miles last night.
that's great.
There you
So
go.
just getting out and getting the fresh air can be really helpful sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I do. I believe that is actual medicine. So
Yes.
we're about to hit our mark here. Does anyone have
Yeah.
anything else to add?
I
I
don't
Speak
think
now.
so.
I just downloaded the Headspace app. I was talking to Tara about it.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so
Yeah,
I've never heard of this.
Neither
that's
have I.
a
yeah,
meditation
it's
app.
like so it's meditation and like they kind of it's for anxiety or pain, like just to like talk you through things, and it's I think
Hmm.
they give you
Oh.
like 2 weeks free, and then it's like $9.99 a month, but that helps me a lot. Like I have anxiety, so like
Mhm.
I use it, and yeah, it's if anyone's looking to kind of, and they're
Self-care.
short, it's like 3
Yeah.
minutes or
Oh,
you
nice.
know
3, 5,
you
or
can
10, I think you
yeah,
can
Oh,
so
choose.
it's very
Okay,
helpful.
so do you
yes.
both meditate? Because I'm fascinated by this a little bit.
I
Yeah, I
don't
used to see it.
consistently.
Sorry.
Sorry, I don't do it
No, you're fine.
consistently, but I'm trying to. It's a skill within itself. So I think just with repetitive practice, it'll eventually become easier. It's just a way to get through your like kind of clear your thoughts and be present, which is something that I struggle with a lot. So it's just,
Okay.
kind of a self-care technique, especially
Yep.
during these
Can
times.
I do that in the shower? Because
Yeah.
that sounds like something I would enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
All right,
it's
on
I
my
used to see
agenda now.
Yeah.
I will. I'll write you a to-do list for tomorrow, Lauren.
It's my only quiet time, so meditating in the shower. Here we go. I'll report back next week on how that goes.
Perfect.
Definitely. I used to
All
see
right.
like a hypnotherapist, and that's what got me into it. So
Interesting.
yeah, it was
Ooh.
it was a trip, but it was fun. And it was very
I've never
helpful.
really done a lot of therapy. I went once and they asked me all these questions and like, why do you have anxiety? I'm like, well, right
Yeah.
now it's because you're asking me like 100 questions.
I
So
was like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
tell
get me
me
out
why.
of here.
Like, that's why I'm here, for you to tell me why.
Yep.
Like, oh, good gracious. So, like you said, Lindsay, we all have try something, it could work, it might not, but I always open to suggestions. So,
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
for now, I think it's you guys.
Yes.
Perfect.
Gotta stick together.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us,
Well,
Yes,
thanks for
Lindsay.
nice to
having
meet
me,
you.
guys. Yeah,
Yes,
nice to
and
meet you guys too.
Tara, next week for your birthday,
I
Yes,
right?
queen.
Yeah.
Quarantine birthday. There you go. I mean, how much more exciting can you get?
I'll
It's
hopefully
like I'm going for my birthday walk, and now I'm
Yeah.
gonna go
Yeah.
for my birthday sit in the living
Glass of
room. So
wine.
that's about all we got.
Wine can be delivered. You can order online. I have already
Yep.
placed an order for 8 bottles to be at my house when I get home from New York.
Whoa.
I
Oh,
love it.
she's ready.
I
She
have
is
6 at
ready.
home,
I have to
so.
quarantine for 2 weeks, even if I don't
Yeah.
get
Oh,
sick.
yeah.
Right,
So
right.
Yeah.
well,
my
hopefully I'll
mom
be
has the puppy and I'll have my wine.
I like
Sounds
it.
like a plan.
hopefully I'll be
All
able
right.
to celebrate with you guys too next week. So
Perfection.
Yes.
All right.
Well,
Well,
thanks
until
again,
then,
guys, for having me.
Yes.
yeah.
Everybody have a good
Bye.
night. Bye.
You
Yeah.
too. Bye.
bye.